There are some weeks when life feels like it's pressing down on every side. And this week, I felt that pressure. Heavy, real, personal. Rent was due. Bills were stacking. And meanwhile, I've been pouring everything I have into building this show, this vision, this thing I believe in with my whole heart. And I'll be honest with you, there have been days I've cried writing the show, hitting record, not from defeat, but from pride. Because this project feels like the first time I've ever built something that's fully mine. Something that feels alive. Something that feels like purpose. And then right in the middle of the stress, right in the middle of wondering how we're going to push through another week, I get a message from my old baseball coach. Rather, his wife, posing as my old baseball coach. These people, they taught me discipline, accountability, and what it means to show up even when nobody's watching. They reached out just to say happy birthday, and then they made a monetary donation. And it wasn't the amount, it was the timing, it was the thought. It was the reminder that blessings don't always arrive as miracles. Sometimes they arrive as memories that choose to come back and give you strength. That gesture, it helped us breathe this week. It reminded me that we're not alone in this, that people believe in what we're building, even from miles away and years removed. So if you're listening right now, whatever you're chasing, whatever you're fighting for, don't mistake the quiet moments for failure. Sometimes the blessings show up the very moment you're starting to doubt the path. And before I move on, I want to say this as clearly as possible to Gary and Vicky Sauter. Thank you. Your kindness came right on time, and it meant more to me than you will ever know. All right. Now let's get into it. Because blessings don't stop the grind, they just remind us why we keep showing up. This is Roundball Rants. And now, let's talk hoops. We've got a packed 2-day slate this weekend. Games with stakes, games with tension, and matchups that are going to bleed straight into the headlines on Monday's show. So let's dive in. On Saturday, you got the Lakers at Bucks, 5 p.m. Pacific. This is the blockbuster. Luka and the Lakers, still in that early stretch where every game feels like a referendum on the trade, going up against Giannis and a Milwaukee team trying to avoid slipping into bad habits. This is star versus star, identity versus identity, pressure versus pressure. For Los Angeles, it's about chemistry and legitimacy. Can they win a true road test against a team that punches back? And then for Milwaukee, it's about control. Can they dictate the tempo and force the Lakers supporting cast to become the decision makers? This one feels big, even in November. Nuggets at Timberwolves, 5 p.m. Pacific. Different year, different Timberwolves, different identity. This team is leaner, meaner, more defensive, more ant-centric. The battle here becomes Jokic versus Gobert, the purest big man chess match that you can have in this league. Around them, a test of Minnesota's evolving offense. Can Ant generate enough scoring against Denver's discipline? Or can Denver expose Minnesota's half-court limitations? This is a November truth serum game, a measuring stick disguised as a regular season matchup. Thunder and Hornets, 4 p.m. Pacific. If you love young guard duels and fast-paced basketball, this is your game. For Oklahoma City, it's about discipline. Can a defending champion avoid slipping in games that they're supposed to control? And for Charlotte, it's about growth. Are they ready to compete with structure, not just raw talent? These types of November's tests tell you everything you need to know about a young team's maturity. Also on Saturday, Grizzlies at Cavaliers, 2 p.m. Pacific. Memphis fighting to find its rhythm, Cleveland testing its ceiling. Raptors at Pacers, 4 p.m. Pacific. Expect fireworks, very possibly the fastest game of the entire weekend. And then we switch to Sunday. We have Clippers at Celtics, 12:30 p.m. Pacific. A true Sunday showcase. Boston is still one of the most disciplined, structured, and reliable teams in the league. The Clippers, they're trying to prove their new era has sustainability, not just intrigue. This is a test of execution, composure, and which star wing steps up when the game tightens. Perfect way to open up the Sunday slate. Then you have the Warriors at Pelicans, 4 p.m. Pacific. Golden State needs stability. New Orleans needs validation. Two teams on totally different timelines but meeting at the same intersection. Identity. The Pelicans want to prove the youth movement has matured. The Warriors want to prove that the dynasty echoes still matter. One team leaves with answers, the other leaves with more questions. Then you got the Magic at Rockets, 4 p.m. Pacific. This isn't a developmental matchup anymore. Not with Kevin Durant in Houston. The Rockets are the West's quiet contenders, a team that nobody debates on TV, but everyone hates playing. Efficient half-court scoring, switchable defenses, clean execution, no drama, no noise, and a superstar who doesn't need headlines to dominate. They win by professionalism. They win by consistency. They win by ignoring the narratives and handling their business. For Orlando, this is a measuring stick game. Where do we actually stand against a real contender? And for Houston, it's just another opportunity to quietly stack wins and remind people that they're for real. This one is better than the casual fans realize. Also on Sunday, Kings at Spurs, 1 p.m. Pacific. Wemby never disappoints. Nets at Wizards, expect at least one unexpected breakout performance. So that's your weekend look ahead. Contenders sharpening their blades, young teams testing their limits, and a couple of games that are going to rewrite storylines before we even get into Monday's show. Even on the days we're not posting, the NBA keeps giving us plenty to talk about. You know, the more I watch this league, the more I realize something. Basketball and life run in the same rhythm. You get weeks where everything clicks, and you get weeks where you're just trying to keep your head above water. You get setbacks, surprises, pressures, blessings, and sometimes they all hit at the same time. And that's been my week. Trying to build this show, trying to make something out of nothing, trying to hold it all together while the real world still expects its rent, its bills, its responsibilities. And then life drops that blessing in the middle of it. That reminder that you're not alone. The people still believe in you, even when you start doubting yourself. And it hit me. The NBA is full of those same moments. Every year there are teams carrying weight nobody sees. Teams that start the season with noise, expectations, pressure, and teams that start with nothing but doubt and silence. And then, out of nowhere, something shifts. Look around the league right now, and you can see who's embracing their blessings and who's burying theirs. Take Houston, a team that nobody puts on national headlines, nobody screams about on the morning shows, nobody circles on their hype calendar, and yet they keep showing up, keep winning. Keep proving that consistency is its own kind of miracle. They don't need the noise. They just need the work. Or take Minnesota. They lost a star in Cat, rebuilt their identity on the fly, handed the keys fully to Ant, and instead of folding, they're fighting. They embraced what they had left, instead of mourning what walked out the door. Or look at New York, a franchise that's been starving for an identity. Suddenly it finds one, not from the outside world validating them, but from believing in the pieces that they have right now. A blessing that looks like structure, a blessing that looks like chemistry, a blessing that looks like Karl Anthony Towns finally being in a place where he can just hoop. And that's the thing, man. Blessings don't always look like glory. Sometimes they look like grit. Sometimes they look like a team finding itself in the middle of adversity. Sometimes they look like a player stepping into a role that no one thought that they were ready for. And sometimes, like this week for me, they look like a simple act of kindness that lands right on time. That's why I love this league, because basketball isn't just wins and losses. Its peaks, its valleys, its belief and doubt, its pressure and poise. It's all the little things we deal with in real life, just played out in front of millions. And as we head into this weekend slate, as the cup continues, as teams find out who they really are, remember this: somebody's blessing is coming. Somebody's breakthrough is brewing. Somebody who's been overlooked is about to make noise. And somebody who's been counted out is about to count themselves right back in. Because just like life, basketball has a way of rewarding the ones who keep showing up. All right, let's bring this thing home. We've talked blessings. We've talked hoops. We've talked the grind and the growth. But you know how we finish around here. It's time for the bounce, where we take everything we've seen, everything we've learned, everything we've survived this week, and we flip it forward. Let's end this thing the right way. But before I close this week out, I want to take a moment to acknowledge the people who've been in our corner from the very beginning, and that includes our partners over at Dubby. They believed in this show before the daily uploads, before the watch time climbed, before the retention curves moved, before the momentum kicked in. They backed the vision early, and in a week where I've been reminded how powerful it is to just have people quietly lifting you up, it just feels right to show them love. So if you need that extra boost, that extra push to get through your grind, head over to dubby.gg and use promo code RoundballRants for 10% off on your next order. They've been a blessing to us. One more reminder that sometimes the people in your corner show up long before the world notices what it is you're building. And that's honestly what I want to talk about as we wrap up this week. Blessings. And the people in your corner you never knew were still there. Because life has a funny way of delivering what you need right when you think you're running out of steam. This week was one of those weeks for me. Trying to keep the show growing. Trying to juggle real life responsibilities. Trying to stand tall when weight starts stacking up. I was tired, man. Not defeated, just tired. And then out of nowhere, a message, a moment, a blessing. My old baseball coach and his wife reaching out, just checking in, reminding me that I'm still on their radar after all these years, and offering support at a moment where it landed in a way they'll probably never fully understand. Not because of the money, not because of the gesture itself, because it showed up right when I started to feel the cracks forming. And I realized something. We spend so much time worrying about who isn't supporting us that we overlook the people who still are, the people who never left, the people who come back into your life at the perfect time, the people who've been watching your journey from the sidelines with pride, even in silence. And that kind of support, it hits deeper than applause. It hits deeper than validation. It hits deeper than anything the algorithm can ever give you. It reminds you that your story isn't just yours anymore. It's shared. It's witnessed. It's carried by people who care about you in ways you didn't expect. And that's true for you too. You've got people in your corner you don't even know about. People rooting for your success. People praying for your breakthroughs. People ready to step in with encouragement or kindness right when you need it most. Blessing don't always show up with fireworks. Sometimes they show up as a quiet message, a small act, a familiar face returning at the perfect moment. A reminder that you're not building, fighting, or pushing alone. And if you're listening to this right now, I want you to carry this into your weekend. You are not alone. Not in your grind, not in your stress, not in your uncertainty, not in your dreams. You have more support than you think. You have more blessings than you can see. And the people in your corner, they're already cheering for the version of you that you're trying to become. Just keep going long enough so that you see it And with that, let's bring it home. I'm Vincent Cooper, and this has been Roundball Rants. And I thank you so much for listening to this. Always remember, it's not just basketball, it's therapy with a bounce.